I'm with Casey Fox, the third baseman and pitcher for the Haverford College baseball team. And Casey, can you kind of just talk about what made you get into baseball when you were younger?
Yeah, so growing up, I kind of picked up my love of baseball from my dad. His dad actually played a lot of baseball growing up and had a tryout with the Yankees kind of a long time back. But kind of my dad always had this big love of baseball, and from before I could remember, I had a glove on my hand or a bat in my hands. I was playing on my older brother's team, who's 4 years older than me. I think I played on his t-ball team, so that put me at 2 years old or something like that when they needed an extra player. So I just kind of picked it up from a really early age and always loved playing it. And I played some other sports throughout, middle school, high school, like a bunch of other guys did. But baseball was always just the one that kind of was my true passion. And I was kind of just lucky enough to be good enough to continue to play at the college level.
And then what separated baseball from the other sports that you played?
Yeah, I think part of it was kind of the challenge. It sounds weird, but one of the things I love about baseball is the fact that you have to fail so often, and it kind of forces you to reevaluate yourself and kind of continue to push and work hard because, even being really good at baseball, you fail more often than you succeed. Whereas in other sports, that's not always as present. So, it just felt like it kept pushing me to get better and put my head down and work hard in between each and every game. And it's something that I've kind of really come to cultivate as just like a core part of my being, and it's kind of helped me, I think, through the classroom and everything. It just seemed like the challenge and then the reward afterwards was just a really good trade-off.
When you were growing up, who was some of your favorite players or favorite team?
Yeah, I guess luckily when I was really little, since my grandfather tried out for the Yankees, I was a Yankees fan growing up. And when I was pretty much the first season where I was old enough to be able to pick a favorite player and actually care about them was Derek Jeter's rookie season. So he was my favorite player from when I was about 5 until last year. So I've really only had one favorite player, Derek Jeter, and it's kind of been cool to see how his career's developed, especially because it's been an extremely long career. His baseball career actually almost outlasted mine, even though mine was starting when he was already a professional.
So the luxury of being a Yankees fan with all those World Series titles must be a tough life, huh?
Yeah. I mean, people complain because they haven't won in the last 3 years, 4 years, but yeah, it definitely was not tough growing up.
What have been some of your favorite moments on the field as a team?
Yeah, well, I've been really fortunate, and so the other guys in my class, to be able to be a part of the 2 conference championships the baseball teams won. And kind of the first one happened so kind of almost shockingly to the freshman class because we had kind of coming in, we were replacing a really, really strong senior class. And in a lot of ways, we didn't fill the holes that they kind of left behind. We lost an All-American shortstop and replaced him with a good shortstop, but not an All-American shortstop. And kind of they lost a couple of really big pieces, and even some of the seniors that were supposed to be big leaders for us got injured and weren't able to really pitch for us down the stretch like we thought they would. And we kind of came to a point in the season where we were maybe one game from missing the playoffs, and all of a sudden we went on a 6-game winning streak and then ran right through the conference tournament like it was nothing. So that was pretty special. And kind of seeing the look on the seniors' faces because they had been through 4 years of their college sport, always kind of dreaming for that moment, was really awesome. And that was really what gave me more of a sense of context, because coming in as a freshman, it was obviously very difficult and it was a big grind, but I'd only put 1 year's worth of work into it, at the college level, whereas they had put 4 in. So I don't think I quite had the perspective on how special and how challenging it really was. Which, while that was an unbelievably great moment, when we were able to win again last year, after I'd spent some more time in the program and I'd experienced what it was like not to win. That one I could almost appreciate a little bit more because there was, I loved the senior class when I was freshman, but I didn't quite know them as well. I didn't have the same relationships as I did with this senior class from last year after playing together for 3 years. And just to be able to kind of, in a similar way, we had our backs against the wall because we lost our first round game and had to win 4 straight, including 2 against one of the nationally ranked teams and a team that was pretty dominant in the conference. And just kind of seeing the team come together I guess, yeah, the common theme between the two teams was really that we continued to kind of grow together and get like tougher and stronger and as the season went on, whereas some other teams were starting to kind of maybe get a little bit more complacent. We were really able to kind of play our best when our back was against the wall and kind of thrive in high pressure environments and kind of create a little bit of chaos on the baseball field, where other teams were kind of spinning their wheels and weren't really sure what to do. We were really comfortable playing in those moments, and I think that's what kind of allowed us to succeed, and it's been a really cool experience to be a part of.
Since you got in time as the starting pitcher, and then you get to play third base when Tommy's on the mound, what has it been like? What has been your perspective as a pitcher, and then getting to see Tommy throw as a third baseman, two-time All-American? What's that perspective been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, what he does is extremely impressive. I mean, he has extremely good velocity, especially for the Division III level, and his curveball's like a true, especially as being someone that's sort of trying to get into like the business side of baseball. His curveball's like a true plus pitch, like from a professional perspective too. Like it's a well above average pitch. Like his ability to repeat his delivery and command to spots is just unbelievable to watch. Like I kind of emulate that with much worse stuff. Not like it's still fine, but like you know what I mean. Like it's with stuff that's not nearly as difficult to hit.
Right.
I try to emulate that, and even being able to emulate a part of that is able to give me success. So like it's not shocking to me that hitters have a tough time when he's throwing low 90s and hitting spots on the corners, and he's dropping in a curveball that has whatever 8 inches of late break. It's not shocking at all that hitters are having a tough time, and it's really kind of fun to watch and see. I think kind of the best summary of it was we were one of there was kind of a catching change between my freshman and sophomore years, because both catchers in the programs were seniors, and the catchers coming in were all freshmen, so kind of none of them had any idea what the pitching staff was like. And one of the freshman catchers asked the Jeremy Zoll, who had graduated, so can you tell me a little bit about the guys? And he's going on and on and on. He goes, okay, well, that's cool. Like, you haven't told me anything about what it's like to catch Tommy. And he said, well, it's because it's kind of like catching a video game. You put it on the sign, you put your glove there, and ball's pretty much in the glove. And so he's actually a little bit easier to catch than some of the other people, even though it seems like it should be the opposite. So yeah, just kind of seeing his unbelievable ability to repeat his delivery and hit spots with the kind of stuff that he has it's really impressive, and it's not shocking that he's been very successful.
My final question is, being a senior, do you have some kind of game plan for life after Haverford?
Yeah, I was actually really lucky. I went through kind of the usual gamut of interviews. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to be doing. I've always been pretty certain I wanted to work on the business side of Major League Baseball, kind of in like a front office, kind of maybe in like an advanced scouting or some other area of baseball operations with a Major League team. So I actually went back in early December. I went out to San Diego for the winter meetings and got to be a part of that whole experience, which was a lot of fun. I interviewed with a bunch of teams. And then some follow-up interviews afterwards. Ended up interviewing with a couple of guys in the Nationals organization, and I was able to land a job in their front office as a remote scout in their advanced scouting department. So I'll be kind of working on some advanced scouting assignments and some pre-draft video work with them, which should be a lot of fun.